Hi, this is Push.House. My name is Daniel, and in this video, I want to talk about one of the most important tools for launching an advertising campaign, ignoring which will make it much more difficult to achieve real profit at a distance. It is split testing. Split testing is your main assistant in finding and selecting the most effective elements of the ad that directly affects the potential profit. Without split testing, the process of launching ad campaigns would just turn into a roulette, the effectiveness of which would be simply impossible to track, and the performance of most of the campaigns would look like they were shot in the dark. In today's video, we'll talk about what split testing is, what ad elements we can test, and how changing them affects the final CR of a campaign. And let's get started. Split testing, or A/B testing, is a way of assessing the effectiveness of replacing a particular element of an ad creative while reserving others. After all, sometimes even the most unimportant detail of an advertising campaign can end up costing you the loss of the budget. Split testing is carried out precisely to determine, exclude, or replace such a variable. Running a split test will help you determine which element is most effective across the entire ad creative and allow you to optimize the ad campaign in a timely manner. For example, you can determine which of the push notification titles get more user attention, or discover the most clickable image version. The task of split testing is to help you find the most effective elements of the ad and improve individual statistical indicators. Therefore, running a split testing will allow you to determine not only the quality of a title or creative, but also identify which badges and button tags are most effective for promotion to a particular audience. And in order to fully assess the possibilities of split testing, let's take a look at the full list of elements available for testing. Split testing may include such elements as title, description, images, target pages, badge, button tags, and targeting. In other words, if you want, you can test literally everything. And the only mandatory condition of the test is that only one element should be tested at a time, and all others remain unchanged. But it's worth taking into account that a split test is a useful tool to improve your ad campaign performance, not a working launching model. Therefore, before conducting a split testing, make sure that the first version of the campaign brings a maximum number of clicks, and only after this condition is met, identify the element to be tested and the metric you plan to improve. To do this, examine the user behavior and try to predict possible changes after replacing a variable. And in Push.House, it can work like this. For example, you plan to replace the ad badge, and thus increase the final CR of the campaign. To do that, create another version of creative within the campaign. You can do this by clicking the Add One More Creative button under the first creative in your campaign settings, or by clicking Duplicate next to the name of the first creative. In this second version, we'll leave everything in place and change only the ad badge. Otherwise, if any other changes are made, the split testing results may turn out to be incorrect, which will directly affect the launch totals. Once the split testing is complete, make sure that the data obtained is sufficient to evaluate the effectiveness of the ad creative and compare the results of the previous run with the data after the changes. And if the results are almost indistinguishable, it means that the element does not have a significant impact on the audience and does not affect the probability of conversion. If the results with the modified badge are higher than the results from the first run, we can conclude that the choice of an icon has a direct impact on the probability of conversion. Therefore, keep the most effective badge within the ad creative and move on to testing other elements. For example, test several variations of titles, icons, descriptions, and images. In this case, a high CTR will tell you which creative is most relevant to your audience, because the higher the CTR, the most effective the ad creative. It is difficult to determine the exact time frame for split testing. Much will depend on the specifics of the offer and the state of the auction. Therefore, you should focus on the amount of data received from the launch. After you get enough data for analysis, you can disable the ad creatives that showed the worst result, which you can then try to alter to achieve a better result. And so, split testing is a useful tool in the arsenal of every advertiser. With its help, you'll be able to get the most qualitative version of the advertising notification and achieve high statistics of the final run. Test new approaches and maximize the benefits of promotion together with Push.House. And I'm saying goodbye to you. See you in new videos. Good luck!